Today we meet a young lady who is truly talented as an extraordinary artist and poet. Akiane Kramarik's work is a sight to behold. She began drawing at the young age of 3.5 years and has been described as a child protege and a genius in her field. Her artwork has sold the world over, with some pieces valued in the millions. She has battled some of life's major setbacks, such as poverty, to get to where she is today. Now living in Australia, True Life Stories is privileged to bring you Akiane's story.
I was born in Mount Morris, Illinois. I'm the third of 5 children, with a Lithuanian mother and American dad. I grew up in an environment where we really didn't have much money. We literally lived by a cornfield in a very small, dilapidated house where there were constant chemical poisons that was spreading, and we were very sick a lot of times, and pesticide poisoning was a constant for me and my dad, and that's where we developed a lot of asthma. And it was very hard that time because my dad was working about 3 jobs. My mom stayed home with us kids, and we were literally living day by day. I started drawing when I was around 3.5, 4 years old, but it was not an overnight success or achievement. It was a process. It started literally as, I'm drawing on my feet or on the floors or on the walls and the tables, and slowly my parents started noticing the drawings on the walls and they bought me a sketch pad, and after the multiple sketches of people, and I loved to study people, especially their faces. I was always that person that loved real things. But in that process, I started experiencing these visions and these dreams, and I didn't know what outlet to show it into the real world. I tried music, I tried dancing, nothing fit for me, and I clicked drawing when I was 6 years old. And at the time, I would randomly start seeing snapshots of different pieces of a face on a painting. And I didn't quite put the pieces together. And when I did, it was this very warm, welcoming image that would draw people in, that just draws all these raw emotions out of people. And it was almost a love feeling to it. I wanted to draw it and paint it so bad because that was the closest thing to love that I've ever experienced. When you see the painting Prince of Peace, I wanted to portray something that would represent Jesus, something that would be universal, that would attract and inspire people and draw them in. And at the end of my 40 hours of this painting, you would see that the light side of his face would represent the truth, and the dark side of his face would represent the suffering. But the light in his eye on the dark side represents he will always be with us when we're in trials. I hope through that particular image, I would want to inspire people, to give them hope, courage, to live in love and not be afraid. The key is to opening that door is through the arts. It is through creativity, because that is the most purest and the most natural form of us when we are not restricted without borders and we're not constrained in chains. Like, it's something that is expressing ourselves. By expressing our pure self, that's when God comes in. Around 8 years old, my parents and my family started to showcase my work around the community and my city. And I got to say it was a very challenging experience, especially when people started to question you and doubt you and think that, you are a fraud, and they would say, burn your works, you're not supposed to be here, and just do something else. And it was a very challenging time to showcase your artwork in such an environment. Many people despise the image. They would call it blasphemy, and they would want me to burn the paintings, and the list goes on. Let's just say it wasn't an easy start. It was the people viewed that painting as a mockery, and it as a child artist, it brought me down to the point where I wanted to drop my paintbrush and quit. But through the encouragement of my parents and my brothers to not listen to those negative emotions and those peoples and just concentrate what you love. And that brought me back up again, and I continued to paint The Father Forgive Them and many other ones in the future. But let's just say the beginning was extremely tough, very tough. We were very shocked to be able to receive this. We received this phone call from the producers of the Oprah show, and somehow, some way, they came across my works, and they were running this gifted kids program, Kids Week, and they asked me if I was willing to come to the show in Chicago. And I was excited, but at the same time I didn't know who Oprah was, because I was still unsure of the media exposure. But it was my first plane ride and my first show that I've ever experienced or ever done. And when I was on her show, all I felt was this unbelievable, warm, motherly presence about her. She had this amazing ability to draw people in and just open themselves up naturally. And I think I was so happy and so honored to share my story with her. But little did I know that her show became and is very well known around America and the world. And that show blossomed my career since then. I am a little shocked still, because I can't fathom the fact that from nothing became something. It was when I started publishing my books, and when the TV and when radio was a part of my everyday life, that we started developing new perspective on life. We started moving into different houses, and we started getting out of that impoverished life, and we started progressing, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We started almost walking into a different path, into a different light. Together as a family, we have this amazing bond that we could overcome any hurdle or any challenge. And if we think or achieve or just envision any kind of goal or dream, we would help one another achieve that. I am so honored that I could use my art to give back to children, to families, to give them the ability to pursue their dreams. Because when you see a person grow and start achieving their goals, when you see a person being healed by past circumstances, when you see a family reuniting together because of your contribution, because of your donation or your help, when you see that firsthand, there's something inside of you that just changes, that goes beyond words. It just makes you feel complete. I would love to create an arts and science academy. I am hoping to publish more books and create artistic tools for artists around the world. And actually, currently in Australia, I am searching for aspiring and enthusiastic artists that are still unknown, who want to be known, and I hope through my art gallery I will be able to give them the tools, and I hope to help them achieve their goals. The message that I want to convey through my art is hope, and I hope that through my work I will be able to unite people. Unity, that's what I hope to achieve through my work.